So I'm back at my furnace, and this time I'm getting the 1-4 blinking light, one short one, and then 4 long ones. So the manual says that code 14 means the furnace failed to ignite. Then it goes over to code 34, which says it's either gas valve issue, a manual shut off, yellow-green wire was disconnected, or the flame sensor was grounded. Now it doesn't seem like any of those were actually the issue, but I do have some thoughts on what might have been the cause. Now, going through the manual, what it says it could be ignition issue, and I tested it. Here's the little window, and if I turn the main power off and turn it back on, it goes through its cycle, and the igniter actually glows orange. So I have a suspicion that it's the inlet pressure. Now it doesn't directly say so, but I've had some issues with the inlet getting clogged up with snow, and we just had another snowy day, so I'm going to go out there and have a look and see what happened. So here I am outside, and as you can see, I've actually had to extend my furnace air intake all the way up there because of the way that the house is located. Is a corner here, and usually with really high snow it used to pile up all the time and clog up the intake. So I'm going to take this apart and have a quick look and see if I can see any obstruction in there. If not, I'll have to go on to the next thing. Okay, so I just tested the inlet and it's perfectly clear, so that's not it. I have to go back inside and see if maybe there's a sensor that's broken inside. Okay, so just to make sure to totally rule out that it's not an air supply issue, I disconnected the air inlet. I'm going to reset the furnace. I'm going to give it another try. My guess is that this is not the issue. My guess is that it could be the little sensor over there, either the vacuum sensor or the thermostat right there that senses the flame. So interestingly enough, it's working now. I did get some gas and then it shut off, and then I reset the furnace and tried it again, and again it did the same thing. It gave a little bit of gas and then shut off, and then the second attempt it worked. So I am not sure, to be honest. As you can see in here, the flame is now working. It's producing heat. So what I'm going to try to do is reconnect the inlet and see if this little vacuum switch resets. I pushed the button and I tested it by putting my hand in front of the inlet, and as soon as it created a vacuum, the vacuum switch actually turned off, which that's how it's supposed to be. So to be honest, I'm not quite sure what happened here. Okay, so I think I know what might have happened. After I disconnected the air inlet downstairs in the basement, right by the furnace there, it started sucking air in, so I went outside of the house to where the furnace exhaust is, and I noticed that it hardly blew any air out. So I waited for the furnace cycle to turn on the gas, and I did notice that the gas meter actually started turning and provide some gas to the furnace, but then it turned off again. I could even smell the gas coming out of the exhaust. I mean, just a tiny little bit, but so I knew the furnace was turning on the gas valve properly. Now, another thing I noticed is that the air that was pushing through the exhaust kind of like waves, and then all of a sudden during the second try of cycling the furnace on, the air started flowing in full force again, kind of like what I would expect. So I think what happened is that the condensation in the furnace, or maybe some snow blowing, actually partially clogged up the furnace exhaust pipe, and after going through the ignition cycle a few times, it blew enough warm air from the inside of the house to melt the restriction and turned on the furnace. Again, not 100% sure if that's what happened, but I'll keep an eye on it and see if she acts up again in the next few days. I hope this helps someone. Thanks for watching.